There is a point in your career where being reliable is no longer enough. Now, I want to be clear. Reliability matters. It builds trust. It tells people you follow through, you take ownership, and you can be counted on when the work matters. But here is where many high performers get stuck. They become known as the person who gets things done, the person who handles the details, the person who can be trusted with the deadline, the client issue, the team request, or the last-minute problem. And while that reputation is valuable, it may not be enough to position you for the next level. Because the next level usually requires people to see more than your ability to execute. They need to see how you think. They need to understand your judgment. They need to hear your recommendations. They need to know that you can connect the work in front of you to the bigger picture. That is the shift from reliable to strategic. And today, I want to walk you through how to start making that shift in a way that feels clear, professional, and authentic. The first thing to understand is this. Your work may be excellent, but that does not mean your value is obvious. A lot of professionals believe that good work should speak for itself. And sometimes it does. But often, it only tells part of the story. People may see the project was completed. They may see that the client issue was resolved. They may see that the meeting happened, the report was delivered, or the process was updated. But they may not see the leadership behind the work. They may not see the risk you reduced. They may not see the decision you influenced. They may not see the alignment you created. They may not see the problem you prevented. And if they do not see those things, they may appreciate your work without fully understanding your strategic value. That is a very different thing. So the question is not, am I working hard? The better question is, are people understanding the value of the work I am doing? That is where your communication has to evolve. Let me give you an example. A task-focused update sounds like this. I finished the onboarding document. That is clear, but it does not tell people very much. A more strategic update sounds like this. I finished the onboarding document. I noticed new team members were receiving inconsistent information, so I created a clearer structure that managers can use during the first 2 weeks. This should reduce confusion and help new employees get up to speed faster. That is a different conversation. Now, people understand the problem. They understand the action. They understand the impact. And they understand that you are not simply completing a task. You are improving a process. That is the kind of communication that helps people see your leadership. The second shift is to stop giving only status updates and start sharing insight. Many people give updates that sound like this. The project is on track. The report is done. The client meeting went well. The team completed the next step. Again, nothing is wrong with those updates. But if that is all people hear, they may only see you as someone who reports activity. A stronger update includes what you noticed. For example, the project is on track. One issue I'm watching is the approval timeline, because if that slows down, it could affect the launch date. I recommend we confirm decision ownership by Friday. That update is still short, but it shows judgment. You named a risk. You connected it to a business outcome. You offered a recommendation. That is strategic visibility. It does not require a long explanation. It requires you to be intentional about what you include. The third shift is asking the so what question. Before you share a win, ask yourself, so what? What changed because of this work? Did it save time? Did it reduce risk? Did it improve alignment? Did it help a leader make a better decision? Did it make a process easier? Did it protect a client relationship? Did it help the team move faster? This question matters because activity is not the same as impact. You can be busy all day and still struggle to explain the value of what you created. The so what question helps you move from activity to value. Let's say you led a meeting. You could say, I led the meeting. Or you could say, I led the meeting and helped the group clarify the 2 decisions that were blocking progress. By the end, we had agreement on next steps and ownership. That is stronger. You are not bragging, you are explaining the value of your leadership. And that brings me to another important point. Visibility is not bragging. I know this is where many professionals, especially high-achieving professionals, hesitate. They do not want to sound self-promotional. They do not want to seem like they are taking too much credit. They do not want to make every conversation about themselves. I understand that. But visibility is not about making yourself the center of the story. Visibility is about helping people understand the value you bring. When you communicate clearly about a problem you solved, a risk you reduced, or an outcome you helped create, you are not bragging. You are giving context. And context helps people understand your leadership. The 4th shift is to let people hear how you think. This is one of the fastest ways to be seen as more strategic. Do not only share the answer, share the thinking behind the answer. You can say, here's what I noticed. Here is the risk I see. Here's the option I would recommend. Here is the trade-off I think we need to consider. Here is what I think matters most. These phrases help people experience your judgment in real time. And that matters because leaders are not only evaluated by what they do, they are evaluated by how they think. How do you assess a situation? How do you make decisions? How do you manage risk? How do you consider the broader impact? How do you help others focus on what matters? When people can hear your thinking, they can better understand your readiness for more responsibility. The 5th shift is to use meetings as visibility moments. You do not need to dominate a meeting to be visible. Sometimes one thoughtful question can do more than 5 scattered comments. You might ask, what decision are we trying to make today? What risk are we not naming yet? What would make this easier for the team to execute? How does this connect to the larger priority? What does success look like by the end of the month? These questions show that you are thinking beyond the immediate conversation. They help the room become clearer. They also position you as someone who can help move the work forward. That is leadership. Not volume, not performance, contribution. The 6th shift is to show leadership evidence now. Don't wait until promotion season. Don't wait until the annual review. Don't wait until someone asks what you've accomplished. Start tracking it now. Keep a simple document where you keep a track of the problems you solved, the risks you influenced, and the decisions you made, also the processes you improved. What are the outcomes you created? The feedback you received? This does not have to be complicated. A running note is enough. The point is to stop relying on memory, because when it comes time to discuss your growth or your next role or your compensation or your leadership potential, you want to speak from evidence, not from pressure, not from emotion, not from trying to remember everything at the last minute. Evidence helps you communicate with more clarity and confidence. So let me bring this all together. If you want to be seen as more strategic, start making these shifts. Do not only report the task, share the impact. Do not only give the answer, share your thinking. Do not only say what happened, explain why it mattered. Do not wait for someone to notice your value. Communicate it clearly and consistently. Your reliability is valuable, but your reliability should not become the ceiling of how people see you. You can be dependable and strategic. You can be humble and visible. You can be professional and clear about the value you bring. So here's the question I want you to carry with you this week. Is my work positioning me for what I want next? Or is it only proving that I can handle what I already have? That question can change the way that you show up. This week, choose one update, one meeting, or one conversation where you will communicate your value more clearly. Share what you noticed. Share what you recommended. Share the impact. Let people hear the leadership behind the work, because your work is already speaking. Now make sure it is positioning you for where you want to go next.